Do you like testimonies of overcoming? Saved and Strong shares stories of people who have overcome struggles to find strength. Each episode inspires resilience, hope, and faith, reminding listeners they're not alone.
Hi, this is Carrie Watts with the Saved and Strong podcast. I'm here today with my friend, Courtney Courtney. Courtney, so good to have you here with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I met Courtney through a mutual friend, and Courtney was selling makeup, and I purchased some. I even had her come to my house because even though I am over 50 years old and I've been doing my own makeup since I was a teenager, I never really had anybody to show me how to contour and what colors really looked good on me. So I so appreciated Courtney when she came to my house and helped my sister and a couple of friends to do that. Just her videos have been so entertaining for me. She's also a busy wife and a busy mom. So I'm going to read her bio real quick, and then we're just going to have a fun little conversation about how she got into this business and how much she enjoys it. So Courtney is a faith-based beauty educator who helps busy women simplify makeup and rediscover confidence rooted in truth, not trends. As Courtney began aging, she realized she had been using makeup as a mask, trying to cover rather than enhance, and feeling more overwhelmed than confident. Through that personal journey, she discovered the power of simple cream makeup and color science to work with her features instead of against them. What started as her own transformation quickly became a passion to help other women experience the same freedom. Today, Courtney mentors women both in beauty and in business, guiding them to build confidence, income, and purpose without compromising their values. As a homeschool mom, she understands real life and teaches practical, time-saving routines that fit busy seasons while helping women see themselves the way God does, fearfully and wonderfully made. She shares faith-filled encouragement on her emails, which is so fun, and on her social media links, which I will share. Courtney, tell us, why do you enjoy helping other women with their makeup?
Well, I was not a makeup lover when I got into this business. It was really more out of necessity. I hated my makeup. I felt like as I was aging, it just wasn't looking like it used to look. And I just didn't feel beautiful. I felt overwhelmed. I felt like I didn't know what to do. And so I really enjoy helping other women who are in my situation as well, because sometimes I feel like we're afraid to admit that, we're supposed to be grown and know how to do our makeup, but maybe we didn't get that education. And sometimes things change over the years, you're not doing your makeup as you did as a teen. So when I found a cream makeup that actually enhanced my features and didn't feel like it was just this mask that you didn't really see me, you just saw makeup. And I love that I found a cream makeup that kind of hid a little of my imperfections while enhancing what I did love. I found out that I am a warm color season. I didn't know that at the time, but as I was starting in the business of selling makeup, I was like, I did my makeup just the same as I did yesterday, and I don't understand why it doesn't look as good as it did yesterday. And I realized it was the color clothing I was wearing. And that kind of started me on a journey of finding the right makeup colors. And I so love helping other women find the makeup colors that makes you feel beautiful, that when people compliment you, they compliment you and not your lip color or your cheek color, because they are seeing you and how beautiful you are and how God made you. And getting into all that color science really kind of helps align to be who God created you to be and to enhance that. And when you work with it instead of against it, I feel like you just feel so beautiful. And so when I found a company called Restore Collective, and they're a faith-based company, and their values are based on biblical wisdom and transparency, and they have Bible verses to go with it, and they had color science to all you have to do is take a quiz and it helps you find the best colors for you, your best lip color, your best eyeshadow color. I was like, I've got to be a part of this because it aligns so much with who I am and who I want to help others be and help encourage them to be who God created them to be.
Well, you do such a good job of it. I really enjoy popping online, and Courtney will have a video every now and then. So tell us about the marketing piece of it. Do you enjoy the videos? Because, so many times I've seen the YouTube videos of these young girls putting on their makeup. And, I'm 53, so I'm like, I shouldn't be doing my makeup like the 20-year-olds. So I really appreciate your videos because I feel like you're a lot younger than I am, but I feel like I can relate to you more than the teenager that's doing the videos. And I do enjoy, you're very entertaining. So tell us some more about that.
Well, I did feel like there was kind of a gap in I can't do my makeup the way that they do their makeup. I have fine lines and wrinkles around my eyes. And so if I really brighten that right there, it puts a big spotlight on my wrinkles. And so where they can get away with that because they don't have those that wisdom of smiling for so many years, I can't do that. And so I love to help make educational videos. I was a school teacher for 6 years, and it was my love. And so I have a love of teaching. And so I like to teach other women how to do their makeup that is right for a little more mature woman. And I do like to do some silly videos as well. That kind of, I feel like sometimes as a mom, we get so busy in our everyday life and serious, and we have to get these things done. And so to make a little silly video, it just is a way for me to have something for me and something that I enjoy that is just a little silly and a little fun while still hopefully being a little educational as well.
So tell us more about Restore Collective. Why is it important to you to have a faith-based company to be working for or with?
What means more to me than anything is my faith. And so when I can align that with my work as well, it is just so much more streamlined. When you have a company who has the same values with you, it's just like you're going in the same direction. When your company sends out a Christmas, message that has the truth and the Bible verse about Jesus being the reason for the season, it's just so encouraging, to be all on the same page and to link arms with so many other women. You do not have to be a Christian or have that faith to be a part of that company, but it does draw so many women who are full of faith. And it is such a blessing to be able to do that. I actually found this company, this lady who has become the CEO. Her name is Heather Burge. She was giving a training with another company, and she was using Bible verse and sharing biblical wisdom, and people were leaving the training right and left because that did not align with their beliefs. But she didn't care because it was everything who she was, and that's how she believed that you should run a business. And so when I found out that she was starting a faith-based business with beautiful cream makeup, I was like, I am so excited about this. I was like, please let the products be good because I do love everything that stands for. And to be able to share my faith openly and honestly, just with the ladies who are under me and on my team, and to encourage them to be able to go out and help other women see themselves as beautiful and that they are fearfully and wonderfully made. And I just feel like you find so much more purpose in your work when your work aligns with your faith.
So tell us a little bit about your faith journey. When did you become a Christian, and how does that play out in your house on a day-to-day basis?
I became a Christian when I was very young. I actually It was so young, I really don't remember the day and time, and so I really doubted my faith for a long time because I could not remember that specific instance, when I called out to God and asked Him to forgive me of my sin and place my faith in Him. And so I struggled with that for many years, but I remember specifically in 4th grade standing at church, and every time they would give, an altar call or say, do you want to become a Christian? I would pray the prayer because I was so nervous that I really wasn't a Christian. But I remember in that 4th grade room, I said, "No, I'm stopping this. I believe that I truly have been saved, and that is my desire to put my faith and trust in God." And so from then on, I really didn't doubt. Now, there have been difficulties in my journey since, but I've never really doubted my salvation then because I can go back to that specific moment and I just remember God just revealing, you have done this, and to stop doubting and to not worry.
Mm.
One of the things that I like to do with my children, I've only had one child place their faith in Jesus, but we celebrate that day every year so that she doesn't have that doubt because she knew without a shadow of a doubt on that day. And I want her to remember that day. And we celebrate that day. We usually have a little dessert or something to celebrate the day that she placed her faith in Jesus. And I hope she carries that with her throughout her adulthood. And things we do daily is we each have our individual Bible study every morning. So even the ones who have not placed their faith in God, our children's ministry has done a wonderful thing that's called PB&J, and it's prayer, Bible, and journaling. And if they do that for 150 days, they get to go on a trip to Great Wolf Lodge. And it has really set up a good habit of doing Bible study every day, no matter if you're on vacation or the circumstances, just to have that sweet time and fellowship with God every day.
PB&J. I'm going to remember that. That's my favorite. Prayer, Bible, and journaling. I love to start my day with that too. That's awesome. Well,
So sweet. There's
absolutely.
just no greater joy.
There's no greater joy. No, not at all. Tell me about community with your faith and how important that is.
Yes, I think community is very important. I feel like COVID showed me that a little bit when we couldn't meet, how important just being in church every Sunday is. It's not the same watching it on screen as being with a body of believers. And again, one really cool thing about Restore Collective, the makeup business, is they actually host our group, our small little team host a Bible study every week. About to start a new one on prayer, but that has been such a joy to be able to connect from people in Canada, people far away just through Zoom. And what an encouragement that is, because the body of believers is bigger than just our local church. And it's been such a joy to just hear about their faith from so far away. I mean, and it's just like we're the same, we're still sisters, and that has been really beautiful. I just think Bible study, it just really helps you get to know someone better. It's one of the most deepest, intimate things you can do with someone. And so I think really Bible studies over the years have really just deepened my faith. And right now, it's very difficult with all of our school schedule, and then taking kids to activities in the nights. I've not been able to get to a local Bible study, even though it's offered. So the Zoom Bible study has been super helpful for me because I can do it at home and I don't have to take my kids and then have nothing to do while I sit at Bible study because there's not childcare or anything like that. That has been a blessing this past year to be able to do several Bible studies via Zoom with my work community.
Yes. Yeah. Where two or more are gathered, even if it's a Zoom room, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, is there a Bible verse or a portion of scripture that encourages you more than another?
I absolutely love the whole of Psalm 139. It's hard to pick a verse out of that. My theme verse is fearfully and wonderfully made from Psalm 139. My daughter, when she was so young, she was probably like maybe 3 or 4, she just looked in the mirror and said, I hate my eyebrows. And she just thought she didn't look pretty because of her eyebrows. And I was just blown away. Like, how can you not see that you're absolutely beautiful? But I was reminded of that verse, and I actually made her a little canvas and cut out a picture and Mod Podged it on there for her and put fearfully and wonderfully made and hung that up in her room. And um, that has been an encouragement to her. And she is now one of the most confident young ladies. I mean, and especially at a preteen age now is very difficult. But I think that verse really helped. And that is really my theme verse for my business as well, is helping other women see that they're fearfully and wonderfully made. You know, God doesn't look at us and go, those eyebrows, or I don't love that hair color. You know, He does not look at us like that. And we should not look at ourselves that way as well. And so I love that fearfully and wonderfully made out of that passage, but also just it's about God being with us and seeing us and knowing every part of us. It says, you saw my unformed body. All my days are numbered before even one came to be. That talks about our purpose. And so the whole of it is so encouraging to me. One year as a family, we memorized the whole 139, and it's one of those that I think it's a blessing to always have that come up, that even when we think God doesn't see us or hear us and that things are difficult in life, and does God really see how difficult it is right now? He sees. It says, if I go up, where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you're there. If I make my way in the depths, you're there. Wherever I am, you are there. And so even if we don't feel him, he is there. And I just think so much encouragement from so many aspects in Psalm 139.
I went to Belhaven College, and our biology professor would teach on the most meticulous part of the cell, the ATP. And then he would look at us and he'd say, and you're fearfully and wonderfully made. And every lecture he ever gave us, he would look
I
at us,
love it.
and you're fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
And we love Dr. Chestnut. But so, yes, and he would put little Bible verses in our mailboxes, and he would put Psalm 139, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. It was just always so encouraging from a professor. And so,
And you still remember it all these years later. What an impact.
yes, yes, for sure. I love what you do. And I hope that our listeners hear you're genuinely concerned for their well-being, and that we want to feel beautiful. We really do. And our colors matter. Tell us, what would you say to encourage the stay-at-home mom? Maybe she's homeschooling, who's looking to supplement her income, and she's thinking, how in the world could I balance family and work at the same time? Give her some tips, give her some advice. How do you balance all of that?
I think a schedule. I'm a schedule girl. I love routine. I love schedule. So what worked for my family as a homeschool mom is, they tell you in school and teaching education, have them read 30 minutes a day, And so I use that 30 minutes for my work time. So they all sit down and read books, and that is helping their school and their education. And that gives me time to have 30 minutes of focus time. I feel like sometimes we can run here and there, and a lot of women in direct sales would say, oh, just, do your business, just a little here and a little there. And when you have a few seconds here and a few seconds there. And I think that just stresses you out. I think then you feel constantly pulled and stretched all the time and never able to focus. So if you could just find 30 minutes a day to work and make an income from home, you would be surprised how much of 30 you can get done in 30 minutes of focused time. And so that's kind of what I do. They know that time is my work time. And then to get an extra 30 minutes, they got to go outside. And so my kids are now old enough that they can be outside on their own. And so that gives me a solid hour of work time. Also, I can do work while they are at their lessons. So they have piano lessons, ballet lessons, and acro lessons. So that gives me a plenty of time where I'm just sitting, waiting for them to be done for their lesson. And so I feel like sometimes the busiest women sometimes can be the best workers because they know how to schedule and organize their time so they can be focused and just do that. Because it doesn't take to be successful in a business like this, it does not take 40 hours. You know, you don't need 40 hours. Depending on your goals, you don't even need 20 hours. You know, just a small amount of focus time a day can make a big difference in income for your family. It certainly has for mine. It has been such a blessing to, sometimes as a homeschool mom, you got to scale back. We only have one income. We can't do the things that families with two incomes have. But having this job at home has given us a little more relax and a little more breathing room to be able to do some of those things that we would want to do with that income of just using a few hours every day or, throughout the week to make that income. And it has also just been, even outside of the income, just such a blessing. As a homeschool mom, I feel like sometimes you feel like that is your only role and that is your only purpose. So to be able to have a ministry and a purpose outside of that has been really fulfilling for me because I can do ministry at home through helping women see their beauty and helping them get color matched. Or like you, going to your home. I still do love to go and do in-persons to be able to see that transformation of them looking at themselves and feeling beautiful. I do love to do that. So it has been fulfilling for me to have that community, to have that purpose as a stay-at-home mom as well, and to not be just mom. And I think it has been my girls, they see me working hard and working for those goals, and they set goals themselves. And so, like, I love that you learn by example, and they are setting little goals for, stretching and ballet. I didn't have to tell them, all right, now you need to work on your goals for the year. They see that example and they create goals just like I'm creating for my business. They're creating for what they're doing in their life. My youngest daughter, she said her word of the month is organization. I was like, praise the Lord. We need that. So much goes into it, but I just think just a few hours of a day or 1 hour a day, even 30 minutes a day can make a big difference.
Yeah, those little eyes are always watching, I'm sure, and you're such a good example. But I absolutely do love the cream makeup. It makes a world of difference. That's why I wanted to
Thank
have you
you.
on this podcast. I wanted to share, not only are you selling makeup, that you're selling makeup from a faith-based company that truly cares about women. I think that's so important. And I thank you for sharing your faith journey with us, and just how you're balancing it all as a working mom and a homeschool mom. It's a lot. And you seem to really enjoy it. So I really
I
appreciate
do.
you being here. Well, we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank Courtney for being here. I want to remind our listeners we're going to have all her information in the show notes. If you want to contact her and get some Restore Collective makeup, I highly recommend it. So, Courtney, thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate it. I had such an enjoyable time talking to you.
I'm so glad that you were able to schedule it in your busy schedule. And for the listener, thank you for sticking with us all the way to the end. We hope you have a blessed 2026. Thank you for being here.